Hello again, Facebook family. I hope everyone's doing well in their homes. Read an article about a sociologist saying that the problem with kids today is boredom. I thought, boy, that's really appropriate for us right now because I'm sure that many of us are struggling maybe with boredom. Maybe we've already gone through the house chores and done the spring cleaning and even done some spring cleaning that you didn't know you needed to clean. And now we're wondering, what do we do to spend our days? Read a book and maybe the TV shows. We're done binge watching all that we can. For kids, I think boredom can be a real dangerous thing. And in fact, that's what the article talked about, is that's when kids start to get in trouble, is when they're too bored. I think about our life and what does boredom do for us as adults? Or even better yet, what does boredom do for us as Christians? I found a verse. This is from Hebrews chapter 6, verse 12, and it says, "So that you may not be sluggish, but imitators of those who through faith and patience inherit the promises." The Living Bible says this: "Knowing what lies ahead for you, you won't become bored with being a Christian." Knowing what lies ahead of you. That kind of speaks to purpose. And part of the problem with these times is a lot of our purpose is wrapped up in our job, in our society, and our communities. And if we aren't able to go to work, we're not able to interact in the social ways that we normally do, we lose maybe a sense of our identity. This is where I think being a Christian and knowing who we are in Christ can be incredibly helpful for us. Because Christ gives us a whole new identity, and with that identity comes a tremendous understanding of what our purpose is in life. And if that purpose was to serve people, then just because we're in our house doesn't mean we can't serve people. If our purpose was to bring joy to people, just because we're in our house, that means that purpose doesn't end. We can still bring joy to people. But perhaps it does create a wrinkle in understanding your purpose. So here's a challenge for you today. In light of who you are in Christ, sit down and write out. And I think this will help with the boredom. Sit down and write out, what is my purpose? What is my purpose in life? You can keep that as broad as you want. And then after you kind of answer what that purpose of life is, sit down and write down maybe a couple ideas of how can I fulfill that purpose in the place where I am today. Because I can tell you this, our purpose has got to be far greater than binge watching Yellowstone or binge watching some other TV show that is real popular right now. Or our purpose has got to be far greater than just sitting on Facebook and looking and watching all the different announcements that pop up, including devotions. Our purpose has got to be far greater than watching Fox News and CNN and the news channels and just continuing to get all the updates that we can about coronavirus. Our purpose has to be something that is understand and is part of our identity, wrapped up in our identity with Christ. So let's do that. There's some homework for you. Sit down, think about, pray, write down even. What is your purpose in understanding who you are in Christ? What is your purpose of life? And write down maybe 2 or 3 things that you can do today or tomorrow that helps fulfill that purpose. And I bet there's a lot more that we can do with a phone call, a lot more that we can do with our hands and feet that don't get in the way of lack of social distancing. There's a lot we can do even in our own homes. So God's blessings to you, and remember, no matter what you're going through right now, you are still wrapped up in Christ's identity. He still has your name as part of his family, and he has still placed his name in your life. God's blessings.